clearly what happened last week was devastating. And, again, unlike, contrary to popular belief, I actually think that it was a mistake by both the officer and that woman. I think that the tensions at the time were high. She freaked out. She hit the gas, hit him, and he shot. Now whether he should have shot her or not is immaterial because she did hit him.
Yeah.
It's just you can't say that. I mean, I know I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but you can't say that, oh, well, we got one view where he didn't, but 90 views that he did, so the one view counts. No, that doesn't work like that.
Not
So
how that works. This just means it's a shit view.
yeah, right. But do you see what's already going on? I mean, especially with yesterday, or was it yesterday, or was it over the weekend? I can't remember.
When
But
they stole the guy got shot in the leg, and they stole like a weapons case out of the back of a
yep.
patrol unit.
Yeah, it wasn't just a weapons case though. They were taking like ICE packets of information on like their operations, and they were posting it online. Like now, maybe 30, 40 years ago, that would have been a big problem. Nowadays, I think they can manage without. But you now also have all the ICE members' information. I'm not sure if it has their addresses or anything like that, but you have, but you have their names. You have specific targets that they were trying to locate, and now anybody can go online and look it up and be like, oh, they're going after me now. Shoot, I might as well go hide out and make everything much more difficult. Now that right there it's almost like espionage, isn't it?
I mean, it's funny that you say that word, but for tonight's thing, but I mean, I can see how there loosely is a thing to it. Now, one thing that I would say, if what you say is true, if there is a list with the addresses, if I was in the position of whoever is running like the customs agents, what I would do is I would just immediately just put out a warrant for everybody that's on that list, so that way that gets expedited. And then if they moved coincidentally because of that, say it was put in form or it was put on a Discord, they'll be able to find out if that was seen by that through the metadata. So you're like, oh, you're running on a warrant, a known warrant, or you're running even more rather than just getting picked up. So it's like extra charges, and it would be done by them. I don't know if that's possible, or how well structured that could be done, if at all.
But you also have to look at aiding and abetting charges as well.
See, that's a big thing too.
Yeah, because now you've aided and abetted, regardless of how small or how big of a crime, your intent means everything, right? If they were to bring the pieces of paper up and say, hey, look at what I found, then they go, okay, yeah, that's nice, and then move on, then, I mean, obviously all of it is bad, but when you slap on the aiding and abetting to a federal operation, I mean, now you're talking some serious charges.
You are, and it's one of those things too when it comes to this. What's the name? It's if you don't know. It's if you do something without knowing. Are you doing it? There's a specific thing. It's like, say if one of these people stayed at their friend's house, that friend's house is doing the aiding.
Oh, an accomplice?
Yeah, he was doing it, but I think he's like, oh, I didn't know he was illegal. I didn't know this. He was just crashing at my house. It's I swear to God, in 20 minutes it'll pop up to me, right? And then like, oh, that's it, like in the middle of some other story. But then you have that, so I don't know how that would really work out.
Yeah, I know. And again, like I said, when you look at the issues that Congress are trying to bring up with what Trump is trying to do, I think it goes deeper than that, because Congress gave the president the power to, I mean, number one, revoke citizenship at any time. Well, that would be Marco Rubio, but either way, that's underneath the executive branch.
Yeah.
it's not the courts, not the regular everyday courts that you and I go to that would handle these situations. It's the immigration courts, which are underneath the executive branch. Right. So bringing all these people in, we got to start at the source. You brought them all in. The previous administration did not do their due diligence and their job by enforcing the law. So the next president decided that that's what he wanted to do, regardless of whether you like Trump or not. He has every right to do that, just like the previous administration had, I guess, have a right to not follow the law. But
Yeah.
but you can't get you can't not get mad at the previous president for allowing it to happen, but then get mad at the president who wants to do something about like that makes absolutely no sense. Right? So from the get-go, trying to go up against the ICE agents as a state, knowing that you're in the wrong. I mean, I'm surprised nobody else has come up with that theory.
Well, I think it's just an unsaid thing. Like, it's just been right there. Like, everyone just knows that that's exactly what it is. And, it's like, that roadness. And, the mayor up there and the governor, they've completely just gone, completely out there. Why, I could not tell you, especially with them knowing. They're telling their people to fight. They're essentially trying to, I've heard people come up with the ideas like, oh, it's trying to start a war, civil war, this and that. It's like no, you can't get the National Guard because that's still military, and Trump trumps that. And then he's calling for all this. He's telling the people, they're telling people like, oh, fuck them, fuck this, fight, blah blah blah. Essentially inciting, and it's a key word to what I'm about to say. Put on this is like, he's the Insurrection Act. We've always been seeing it. Multiple presidents have done it through our lifetime. Not even, the Biden administration. Multiple have done it. But the first thing to actually do that you have to do as president before you just say this, it's you have to fire a warning shot. It's like that's
shot across the bow.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect wording on that one. And then and then they're just trying to play coy like on this now. Like because I read it a little bit earlier. And he's like, I'm mad, you're mad, we need to do something. He's like, yeah, get your fucking goons and tell them to stop fucking, fucking shit up and let the laws be the laws. Like your dumb feelings. Like doesn't mean because you're right, because you don't have an identity. You just put it to this because you want to feel virtuous. You don't have anything going on in your life. It doesn't mean that what you're doing is right. That just means what you're doing is just dumb.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's a couple of sides to this. A lot of people are saying there's two sides. There's actually multiple sides to this, right? So there's the group that wants them all gone, which by the way, there's no way you're going to be able to get everybody out, right? Because there's going to be different circumstances in each case. And, there are people that cross the border illegally that are in this country that are actually doing the right thing. And those aren't the people that they're talking about.
Yeah.
If they're coming in, they get a job and they're paying taxes and not, sucking down the welfare system. He's not talking about those people.
No, I mean, they're gonna get something, unfortunately, like, there's stories where, there's people that as babies, like infants, they come over, they don't even speak a lick of Spanish, and they'll come from like Guatemala, they'll come from somewhere else, Venezuela, or Mexico or wherever. They'll come, they don't even speak a lick of like their native tongue, not one thing. And then they're getting sent back, and they're productive humans.
They can arrest Tim Waltz and Ilhan Omar Epps.
They should, huh?
Oh, that's hilarious. You expect a man with less testosterone than Cotton Hill to actually do something against Trump. But anyways, like I was saying, you got the people that are like deport them all. Then you've got the people that are trying to protect them. Then you've got the people in the middle who are we're kind of like it's something, it's not one of those two, but it's somewhere in the middle, right?
Look back. So it'll track it. I'm saying put your hand back like when you're doing it. It'll track
light here. Yeah, but and then you have people that just want to see the country burn, right? They want to see the war. They want to see the escalation because they don't necessarily care about this country, even though they're American citizens. And
they're brainwashed.
But that's a very, very small group, right? It's a very small group of individuals that is doing that.
No, it's a liberal hive mind. And that's exactly what it is. And it's
become like the hell?
This American socialist. You know what I'm saying? Pull your hand back slowly. Like maybe it'll track it.
I did, but it's not like, hold on, let me get the light. There we go. Did it work? Hold on. Maybe I need to clean this thing off. Give me a second.
Squeaky, 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 squeaky.
Is there just not enough light in here?
You look like a terrible.
Hey!
Oh, that worked. I mean, now we know the trick.
Yeah, I think it's the lighting. There's too much shadowing on one side and light on the other, so that's why the camera's kind of confused. Like, what is it doing? Anyways, all right. So let's move on to CNN Business, the Communist News Network. Tip of the iceberg. The FBI search a reporter's home has newsrooms bracing for more.
This is what I was talking about, espionage.
Oh, okay. I don't know about this story. This is the first time I'm seeing all of this stuff. So
I read some of this earlier.
Yeah, so you're getting all of this in real time from me. Early on in her tenure as President Trump's Attorney General, Pam Bondi scrapped the Biden-era policy that banned the Justice Department from pursuing reporters' phone records and notes while investigating leakers. The message was unmistakable. Trump-era investigators would welcome a confrontation, and now they have one. This week's Justice Department took an extraordinary step to obtaining a search warrant for Washington Post reporter Hannah Nattason's home. FBI agents arrived early on Wednesday and seized Nattason's phone, 2 computers, her Garmin watch. Inside of Washington Post newsroom, the impact was immediate. Reporters called the search incredibly disturbing and unprecedented. Nattason met with Post lawyers and security experts, scrambled to line up her own outside legal counsel, and urged her colleagues to keep reporting. The line that was crossed. Let's see what CNN has to say about this. Until now, Gabe Rotman of the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press said Justice Department had never executed a search warrant at the home of a reporter in a national security leak case. But now that that line's been crossed, some journalists and media lawyers expect it will happen again. I'm pretty sure it will, especially after everything that happened during Trump's first administration and then January 6th and all this other stuff. So look who's talking. Trump allies at the Justice Department had been itching to do this, a law enforcement reporter told CNN. Which law enforcement reporter? Bondi's revised policy, which went into effect last May, weakened her predecessor Merrick Garland's protections for the press and reflected Trump's personal frustrations with leaks. On Wednesday night, Bondi alleged to Fox News that Nattason's devices contained classified material regarding our foreign adversaries and what we're looking into now. The search warrant said the raid was connected to the case of a Maryland contractor who was charged last week with illegally retaining classified records. The Justice Department alleged that the contractor assessed a top-secret intelligence report related to an unnamed foreign country. Let's see, is there anything else that's important here? Let's see, a clear effort to intimidate. I guess that's what they're trying to get to, is that they're trying to intimidate reporters. But, I mean, after all the lies that these mainstream reporters have been saying for years, I can't. You know what? Let's see what happens.
It's one of those things because, I've always been pro, reporting the news, If the government's doing something fucked, it's in our interest for it to be released. Like Snowden, I would say he was the catalyst for pretty much everything that's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like even prior to Trump, like just the awareness to the American people and the government itself has been really just kicking the balls and trying to ice it, making sure, no pun intended, trying to cover up anything else. But then here lies the difference. Is the deep state really trying to cover this person like dead in the tracks, like some old story from like the Born Supremacy, or is it that this person really does have something that they shouldn't have? And when it comes to that, you can't keep it. Like that is just truly just illegal and shouldn't be done. So then who's to say if it is that case? Like it's federal. Do you need a search warrant when it comes to that? Because there is going to be, precedence of, time. The longer it's out there, like the more it can be spread. So like, what is it? Who is it?
I think, well, speaking of search warrants, I think there's a precedent that's been set where if you've had former cases that are similar to what you're doing, you can kind of do it, but you also run the risk of having the case thrown out if you're wrong.
Like it's like, oh, like, hey, citizen reporter, you fucked up. We're not throwing it away. If we're going to throw it away because it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, exactly. But again, some of these reporters have gotten out of hand. All right.
Yeah.
And they've put people they've exposed things that weren't supposed to be exposed yet. And they ruin investigations, they ruin court cases, they ruin a bunch of things that would help out. Like for example, anybody that broke into a police vehicle in Minneapolis and took the information and posted it online so that people that potentially would be arrested would be able to see it. Like that's just blatant, right? Now, I don't think this person was doing the same thing, but clearly if it's classified information that you're not supposed to have, you need to hide it a little bit better.
Yeah, but and then who's to say? And then here comes like the power where it's they're deciding. Where they could like maybe they really do just want to shut this person up, and maybe they really do have some information where they can, go by force. Because like
it could be compromising.
Yeah, and it could be something of nature of like again, like when it comes to this specific thing, I don't know too much about it. I can only speculate. Hopefully, like it's going in the right direction with my brainstorming. But a lot of times it just comes down to like policies or just like what's the standard or what has been the standard.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at the same time, at least this administration, like they haven't lost a court case for anything that they've gone against. Maybe a few things here and there, but when it's like something where the nuance is like around this, like they're being instructed to do a certain way the right way.
Right. Yeah. And again, there's always going to be different parts of the law that you can bend but not break. There's going to be certain things like Whistleblower Act and things like that are going to protect certain people. But again, like I said, if you've got classified information, you better know what you're doing with it.
Yeah. Things are, laws aren't meant to be broken. They can be broken, but, they can be bent. Just like, the difference between peaceful protesting and rioting.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right. Let's move on to The Guardian, my favorite website.
That's the best.
What do we got here? Oh, there we go. All right. So from The Guardian, more than 4.7 million social media accounts blocked after Australia's under-16 ban came into force, Prime Minister says. All right. Let's see. More than 4.7 million social media accounts held by Australians whose platform had judged to be under 16 years of age were deactivated, removed, restricted in the first days after the ban came into effect on December 10th, the Prime Minister had said. The e-safety commissioners sent questions to each of the platforms covered by the ban, asking how many accounts had been removed to comply with the law. The 10 platforms were Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, Snap, X, TikTok, and Reddit. According to data received in response to these questions released by the Prime Minister on Thursday, more than 4.7 million accounts were deactivated, removed, or restricted in the first few days of the ban. The government cited commercial confidentiality in declining to break down the number of accounts affected on each platform. However, Meta on Monday said it deactivated almost 550,000 accounts across Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Guardian Australia has sought comment from other platforms regarding their individual numbers. I'm kind of on a fence on this part because
I am too.
The way that I see my kid on his tablet, I'm like, yes. But at the same time, how do you know these people are 16?
Phone numbers, emails, like credit card, maybe debit card, matching, social.
Well, I mean, a 16-year-old probably not going to have a credit card.
But that's the thing. You have to be 18.
Which is true, but how do you know? Well, if the credit card exists on the account and you have that person said name from the credit card on the account, then how do you know that person behind the screen is 16 years old, right? Like there's a lot of different questions here.
I'm sure they're gonna. They can ban. That's a lot of fucking accounts to ban. And I do. Like, I definitely do agree with it, but I couldn't back it up. The idea of it, I totally get, because it's toxic, it's predatory, it's brain rot completely. And you can see from this younger generations, they're just fucking retarded. They're socially retarded. Excuse my not French, but they don't know how to interact. They don't have any idea of reality outside of their cell phone, other than it's in school, to which it's the same interaction. So there's that. But also, I'm also anti-supporting, taking your right to have an open forum.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to have that, to reach out and to, meet people, or socialize with friends, keep in touch with your friends and family. There's a difference to it. So it's I can't agree with it. A lot of things that the Australian government, that they do, I completely disagree. I think they're one of the more fucked on Western civilization when it comes to what they do.
Yeah, and Brian says here, First Amendment issues for sure. Yeah, I do agree with that. But I also think that there are certain adults that shouldn't have online access to, but again, it is their right to speak in that open forum, and it's up to everybody else to decide whether that person's worth listening to or not.
No, and see, that's the thing. When you just said there's certain, even adults, there'd be an argument to make where a lot of people are like, oh, Alex Jones shouldn't be on there. Shouldn't have anything, or Gavin McGinn.
Alex Jones right now is so untouchable, it's not even funny.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I
hate to say it, but he is.
He's a phoenix. That's essentially what it is. Mm-hmm. What he's become. But it's the same argument prior to where he's at now. Everyone hated him because he was all the things he would say were so outlandish, and they just turn out to be true, every time. But he was just so brash.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a conspiracy theorist. He's just 6 months early.
Yeah.
or in his case, 10 years early, right?
Yeah. That's what conspiracy is.
Yeah, when he made this prediction, he had hair. No, I don't know. Here, obviously, it's going to be much more impossible to do.
They're trying to do it here.
They were trying to do it here, right? But newsflash, this is Australia. They've already stripped them of almost everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, they got rid of the guns, and then of course once the guns are down, then they start finding things to police, and when they can't, then they start making up laws for things that are so minuscule, and they start out small and then they become big because it's like, well, everybody does this, and it's like, oh, look at that, well, it's a problem, we got to make a law. Like, it's just.
And here lies and then you could say the same thing for the UK. They do the same thing, but that's the big downfall, compared for them to us, how their government is run to how it's ran through us. And that's the stuff that makes it special. Though, both, we might be on the fence of this specific thing, but if it did happen, we would want if it happened here, we would 100%, there would be just a huge national thing.
Yeah. Like, and the thing is, but here, there's always that small threat from the people.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying that should be the only option. What I'm saying is that it is an option, and, especially if your government decides to go rogue and start doing some dumb stuff that's not in the best interest of the country or majority of the country for that matter, like Minnesota. Because when it comes to the immigration issue, immigration was the number one issue in the last election. And like Trump he nailed it down, and the Democrats just tried to get around it and they couldn't. And so it's like it's not even a 70-30 issue. It's like a 90-10 issue. And that's being generous.
No, it's being very generous.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I was going to say, and we've all seen the posts. We've all seen it live. When it was Reagan, when it was Clinton, when it was Bush, when it was Obama. It's all the same thing. But it wasn't Reagan. Who was before? Who was after Bush Senior? Before Clinton?
Oh, it was Reagan. No, it was Reagan. And was it Bush Senior, then Reagan, or Reagan? Senior.
Whatever. But anyway, digressing.
We know our histories.
It's either way, it was always a thing on the table, and back then it was a huge thing for them, and they were proponent for it. But now it's just I think pretty much the whole world knows. Like, Trump says he's going to do it, the Dems on the Hill are just naturally going to go against it. And we've said it before, it's like, oh, Duke can cure cancer or go for world peace. And he ended up like 8 wars, 7 wars. And they're like, no, evil. And then at the same time, like, oh, free Palestine. And then when Trump is saving or trying to help Iran out, silence. And then what was it, 2 nights ago or last night? They killed 12,000 people in one night. The government did, and it was 2 nights ago. It was 3,000, so 15,000 people in less than a week. Last night, 12,000 people. Was it last night or the night before?
Night before, I think.
Yeah, It's the largest single massive death in human history, other than Omaha Beach on D-Day.
Yeah, that's
like there's things to be said like nuclear bombs and stuff, but like this is not the same.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is just turning your guns on your citizens. It's not a war where there's going to be casualties, right? This is a protest that the government said, nope.
That just...
I will have order. It's just... So, of course, there's going to be massive human rights violations because you're not at war. You're saying you're going to be at war with your own citizens. Is what they think that's happening over there is what they think is going to happen over here. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not. Because if President Trump somehow, some way becomes defiant and then starts killing American citizens, I promise you, it'll be the right. And actually, I wouldn't even say it's the right. It would be the libertarians that would come out and be like, yeah, those guys. You don't want when those guys come out.
Yeah, you don't want the boogaloos to come out.
Yeah, you definitely don't want those guys to come out because they don't care what president's in office. You ain't doing that stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I don't think that would happen. But you're also talking the human rights. Like, they don't have human rights there. Like, that country with that regime, like, they're immune to it because, like, no one's going to do anything, unfortunately. Now, hopefully things will start to change, if the president does go into it. But, it's, and there's the kind of difference between, like, I don't know how we got to this topic from, teenagers losing Snapchat. But it's how it goes.
Yeah, I know. Well, speaking of guns and terror, this is from the Second Amendment Foundation. Now, there was this story. I don't know what to think of this story, so let's take a look at it because there's so many conflicting reports on what's going on here.
Like out there.
What is actually going to happen. But right here. So from the Second Amendment Foundation, New York Attorney General Letitia James charging Florida man with 71 gun crimes. All right. The Orlando resident, Lawrence Michael DiStefano, is a 65-year-old, has no criminal record, and reveres the Second Amendment more than nearly anything else. DiStefano's website, Indie Guns, is still active, at least for now. Even though he cannot fill any orders, the site contains his business motto, which is simple but very true. Guns are normal. Normal people build guns. DiStefano has been held without bond in the Orange County Jail for nearly 90 days. We know that place.
I know that place very well. It's actually not too far from my house.
Yep. Awaiting a trip to New York's infamous Rikers Island, a violent 400-acre prison island in the East River near the Bronx, from which they may never return. Quote, I am in jail for telling the truth. I was one of the largest dealers of self-built arms. I hate the term ghost guns, he said last week in a jail telephone. DiStefano's firm was one of 10 self-built arms dealers targeted by New York State Attorney General Letitia James because they allegedly shipped gun kits to New York. Quote, she made a deal with the other companies. They turned over all the customer data and have more than 50,000 customers just in New York. My attorney even told me to turn over all my customer data, but I thought this isn't about me. I'm going to fight this. DiStefano posted one of James' letters on social media, which demanded that he comply and turn over his customers' names and addresses. His reply was also posted. I addressed Letitia James and the mayor, he said. I was very vulgar and extremely angry. DiStefano had sold gun part kits to people in all 50 states and has never had a problem other than in New York. Quote, I promise you, this is very true. Every government wants registration, then confiscation, then genocide, he said. Yeah. I mean, tell me a time it's never happened, right? Exactly. DiStefano was arrested on October 10th, 2025 by a dozen Florida Highway Patrol troopers who were ready for a fight. His arrest report states that he had an outstanding warrant out of New York. He complied fully during the traffic stop and no force was needed. The arrest report raises questions. It states that DiStefano had made a terroristic threat in New York state offenses. Terroristic threats in New York state offenses, and that firearms were involved. He strongly denies making any threats and was never in New York. Regardless of the error, Florida state troopers took him to Orange County Sheriff's Department jail, where he remains. Now, are those threats out for the public to see?
No.
No, of course not. Because if they were, I promise you, they would be all over the place.
So
especially in New York.
When they're saying kits, what is he? Are we talking like Palmetto's State Armory, where they just sound like uppers and lowers and like PCBs and stuff?
I think they were receivers. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. 80% lowers.
Okay.
Yeah, which I think is the highest percentage legally that you can. So without it actually being constituting a gun. Right. So yeah, so this is going to be another weird court case that's probably going to go to the Supreme Court. And it's probably going to end exactly the same way that it normally does. But I would like to know what crime he's committed.
I think it's just one of those made up things. They're just using him as an excuse. They're using him as just like, they'll put bodies on pikes in front of like down the road in the old days for the castle to show don't go against me. They're just setting it and using him as an example.
I know, but they're running out of examples to set.
They're gonna keep doing it. They're just gonna keep doing it. They're gonna,
they're going to keep doing it until something dumb happens in New York where it would have required having self-defense, and then that's going to start changing narratives.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he gets out of it, and I hope he goes to John Morgan, because John Morgan lives down the street from me too, and like shit, I can walk to his office. Like I could see it from my balcony.
Offices Orlando.
Yeah, and that would be like one of the biggest lawsuits, and he'll win, and then it'll just be a big thing.
Oh, I see. Hardy Harmonica says they will make the process the punishment.
Yeah, there was actually there was something else where, like what was it? Some of the guys that we were interviewing like a year ago maybe, or less than a year ago, when we had them on the show and they were part of like the January 6th, and they were just standing there, and the whole process they were saying was the guy was like they were dismissing it, taking it longer, so they just stay in jail like indefinitely without due process. I forgot his name. You were super stoked about him, Mike did. But anyway.
Shoot.
He was the guy that took Pelosi's.
Adam Johnson, lectern leader.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I know.
This is the same ringer.
Yeah, it's funny how that's even allowed. I'm surprised that like that type of process hasn't been challenged yet. Because it's innocent until proven guilty. So if you can't prosecute, you should let them go. Right? Yeah. Unless there's fear of like an actual serious crime being committed. But if they don't have, say, a record to go off of, you really don't have a reason to keep them back. Now,
it's hearsay.
It's all hearsay.
They're just going to keep resetting it until he gets a trial, and if they just keep pushing it back, he's just going to rot there waiting.
Exactly. So, anyways, we're probably going to keep this story alive because this could have a lot of implications. On Second Amendment, even though I believe that it's going to die at the Supreme Court. But again, just like Hardy said, the process is the punishment.
Yeah. No, I mean, it sucks because it started with these like what 60, 65 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like how long? I mean, it's not like he's got a lot of years left.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a time where you want to sit back and hang out with your grandkids kind of years.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, on to our last story from BGR.com. Scientists have discovered something that could help humans live on the moon. Sentiments on the moon are a classic science fiction setting, but despite purported attempts by NASA to build homes on the moon, we never really came close to building one. It's not hard to see why the goal of lunar colonization has remained out of reach. Earth's natural satellite lacks the life-giving resources of a planet it orbits. Not only does the moon lack any water, but its atmosphere is so thin that it's basically like being in a vacuum. The first requirement for any potential moon settlement would have to be a system for generating breathable air. You can't create such a system without access to the elements in the air. It has generally been assumed that in order to create breathable air on the moon, we would have to import particles from our own atmosphere to get the process started. Shipping a portion of Earth's atmosphere to the moon would be an unprecedented technological feat. No shit. And one dreads to thinking of that price tag. However, a recent study has revealed that the natural forces have already done that for us. in a groundbreaking paper published by the Journal of Communications, Earth, and Environment in December of 2025. A research team from the University of Rochester's Department of Physics and Astronomy revealed evidence that solar winds have steadily been blowing particles from Earth's atmosphere onto the moon, where they accumulate on the surface. If that indeed is the case, then a lunar solid could be key to both Earth's future and its past. I wish I had astronaut girl on
Give
here.
me back my atmosphere, stupid moon.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, to build an atmosphere, you would need a heck of a lot more. You would need a lot more of Earth's atmosphere that you would be more than willing to give up.
Yeah, I forgot where I was watching this, but they were saying like China's at the moon doing stuff there. But like at the northern pole, like on opposites, like where the craters are, there's actually apparently like water deposits in these craters. And they thought that wasn't possible.
I can see that.
Hence why the moon is starting to like oxidize.
Yeah, and I think that's also because remember when people talk about how the Earth was formed and where water came from was from icy meteors, right?
Yeah.
And then icy meteors slam into the Earth, burn up, cause steam. Steam creates clouds. Clouds then cool down and then drop back onto the Earth, right? So that's just one theory. I'm not some rocket scientist here, but but that could at least push that theory even further, especially knowing that there are moons, especially some of Jupiter's moons that have.
Those I just saw the videos from the moon. What was it, Titan? They actually got like a satellite in there or something. It is fucking cool as shit. Like vast, like mile deep lakes made out of like ammonia or something.
Let me see here. Titan. That's not what I did. Okay. Titan moon landing. Oh, here we go. Footage. Let me see if I can.
It looks like something out of a video game.
What did they see? Oh wow. This is amazing. Oh, let me see if I can pull it up. What's that, Brian?
No, I said throw it up. I can hear it, but I don't see it.
There we go.
And everyone just thought it was like just liquid.
Like that's crazy. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so it's going to be a gargantuan feat. Like to even build anything up there would take our entire lifetimes. The amount of travel and materials and things that we'd have to get up there.
It exhausts all the resources.
Yeah, with the resources, they'd have to build it. Then they'd have to see if it works. And then if it doesn't work, then you're going to have to, come up with a different game plan. I mean, this is where the Terminator robots, come into play because you throw them on the moon and have them do all the work.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're going to do. They're going to make all these AI robots because they don't need oxygen tech, I guess. I mean, maybe for like the temperature because of like, the seals and stuff. But, you could just use them as little worker bots, like a little ant colony on the moon, and they can just develop it there. And they can mine all the gold and send it back to us, and we can liberate the gold from the moon and all the precious resources for democracy.
Democracy. All right.
All that weapons.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to end a little bit early today, but
that's fine.
You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Caption All right, Brian, what do you got for us today? What the hell? Hold on, let me blow this up a little bit more. There we go. Now I can see it. Oh wow. This one we're probably gonna have to be very elaborate on. Let me see what do we got. So it looks like we got a couple of pupsters, the goodest and goodest of pupsters, and seems like they're playing a war game of some sort. Oh, geez. Let me see here. I think I got something. There we go. This is going to be so dumb.
War dogs.
I I don't know. I came up with whatever I could for this one. The dog pound 40K. And then I put World War II German Shepherds going over the Wolfskrieg strategy.
Wolfskrieg.
When the board approves the plan, but no one knows who's in. Let's see. War is hell. Strategy is rough. Oh my god. I don't know who else we got in here. Come on, guys. 60 more seconds. What else we got in here? Let's see. Vash said we have to go past Earth or low Earth orbit first. NASA owns words. We can't go past low Earth orbit. All right. So we're going to do, so here we go. We're just going to do the dog pound 40K and the World War II German Shepherds going over the Wolfskrieg strategy. All right. One's in the chats. Uh-oh. Do we have more here? Game of Bones, The Last Treat. War Dog Games. Oh, man. First thought was thinking about the new Sabaton music video about the Battle of Waterloo.
What's Sabaton? Might have to look at that.
Oh, man. All right. So give us ones in the chat for the dog pound 40K. Twos in the chat for German Shepherds. We got a vote for one. Got another vote for one. Oh, man. You know what? Screw it. I'll go one. I'll vote against myself. There we go. You, sir, are the winner of tonight's Caption This. I can't wait for there to be like 1,000 people in here trying to do Caption. I want to be reading them down so fast that I'm going to have to like stumble over my words to read them.
Like go back on it.
Oh my goodness. And vast changes to 2. Jeez, come on. I think one's got it. I mean, it was right off the bat. And typically early bird gets the worm. So you are the winner, sir. Anyways, like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. Go to riseofmiddleamerica.com. See our lineup of podcasts from history, the news, sports, pop culture. We got everything for all your needs. At the top upper right-hand corner, that's where all our socials are. Down at the bottom, that's where our merch site is. Check us out. Buy some merch. Help us out. Right up there. I think I'm pointing in the right direction. Boom. There's a QR code there. If you scan that, it'll take you straight to the site. So anyways, Taylor, it's been a pleasure. Time for me to go ahead and get ready for Roma Sports. Man, I had a busy night tonight. I'm going to pass out as soon as all this is done. You know. There we go. But anyways, like I said, thank you guys for joining us tonight, and we will see you next week on Monday. Have a good night. Play the clip.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.